I've never met so many cowards in our black men in show business. And then
I've never met such countless quitters in our individuals of color in Broadway. And afterward you pivot and say, goodness, yet woman, oh, dealt with it. I definitely disapprove of that. I generally dislike that in our current reality where devotion is uncommon and treacheries are the cash of the tattle. Economy One Dangerous Disclosure has quite recently set the web ablaze. Monique, the frank fighter for equity in Hollywood, has released a burning tirade against Land GP Henson, blaming her for a definitive disloyalty. Why? For making with, in all honesty, Oprah Winfrey the very figure they were both battling against. What does that make those sort of individuals, Shannon? That doesn't make those sort of fly. That is fearful. See, yet there's more going on than meets the eye. Stay tuned as we unwind the strings of trickery, dependability, and the excessive cost of distinction in Hollywood. With the stage set for a conflict of Hollywood titans, we should dive further into the well-established quarrel among Monique and Oprah Winfrey, an adventure that has been fermenting for over a decade. Everything started with Monique's momentous exhibition in the widely praised movie Valuable, a job that acquired her Institute grant for Best Supporting Entertainer in 2010 anyway. In spite of her heavenly presentation, Monique ended up entangled in contention when she freely voiced her complaints about the unjustifiable treatment and underpayment. She's supposedly knowledgeable about the business. This ain't the right cash theft. Ain't the perfect sum stand by a moment in the event that they got this. For what reason am I getting this? You begin assembling the pieces in her new meeting on the Club Shade digital broadcast. Monique didn't keep down as she related the series of occasions that prompted her fight with Winfrey. It wasn't just about losing jobs to Winfrey, for example, in Otler and an anonymous Richard Earlier biopic. Yet it was the sensation of being deliberately sidelined and blackballed in the business that's on the most. They returned to that cuz it was as it didn't sound good to me, babe. Like, did she do? She said something you could have done without, like, so she didn't labor for quite a long time after that. Right? Monique claims that Winfrey alongside Tyler Perry played a turn job in sustaining this underestimation. Perry even confessed to Monique that he had begun painting her as challenging to work with, a move that further harmed her standing and restricted her chances in Hollywood. Yet maybe the most stunning disclosure came when Winfrey purportedly deceived Monique's trust by coordinating a broadcast gathering with her alienated sibling Gerald IMS, who had conceded to attacking her as a young regardless of Monique's unequivocal solicitation to keep her family matters hidden. Winfrey purportedly walloped her by welcoming her folks to examine the profoundly private injury on public television. Following these treacheries, Monique has over and over endeavored to address her complaints with Winfrey straightforwardly, just to be met with quietness or excusal. For her pardoning is dependent upon responsibility, a feeling that highlights the gravity of the injuries caused by Winfrey's activities. Monique's fight for pay value and fair treatment in Hollywood fills in as a powerful indication of the difficulties looked by minimized voices in an industry overwhelmed by influence elements and dug-in predispositions. Quick forward to the current day, and Monique stays relentless in her battle against what she sees as shamefulness in Hollywood. Simply a month prior, it appeared she had found a partner and individual entertainer, Terry P. Henson, who courageously stood up against the inconsistent compensation and abuse she looked during the development of the show-delivered film Purple, getting compensated a negligible portion of the expense. I'm burnt out on hearing my sisters say exactly the same thing again and again. Henson's sincere disclosures started a flood of help from fans and partners. He's same with many complimenting her dauntlessness and revealing insight into such an intrusive issue in media outlets. Taraji im broken mem. On those stages it was excruciating to observe anyway. The situation starts to get interesting as Monique currently winds up in conflict with Henson's, blaming her for selling out, for apparently setting things straight with Oprah Winfrey, the very figure they had both been revitalizing against. In a new meeting with Shannon Sharpie, Monique didn't mince her words, communicating her failure in Henson's activities and scrutinizing her faithfulness to the reason. Yet, what precisely unfolded among Henson and Winfrey to cause such a break among Monique and her freshly discovered partner? Everything returns to Henson's personal disclosure during a SLAMS interview with Gay Ruler, where she mournfully described her battles with being come up short on and underestimated as a dark entertainer in Hollywood, and on the off chance that can't battle for them coming up behind. Me, what the am I doing? I'm sorry, definitely no, don't apologize, don't. Henson's real to life admission reached agreement with numerous in the business, revealing insight into the fundamental disparities that kept on playing dark entertainers anyway. It was her resulting choice to accommodate with Winfrey that lighted discussion inside Hollywood circles in a selective disclosure. Apparently, the detense among Henson and Winfrey was fashioned through a solitary discussion that resounded profoundly. With Henson in the midst of mounting kickback ensnaring Winfrey, and the inconsistent compensation fiasco encompassing Purple Change, Henson took to virtual entertainment to put any misinformation to rest, imparting a photograph of herself to Winfrey during a special occasion in New York City. Henson underlined the significance of supporting ladies of variety in dynamic situations across all enterprises. She expressed gratitude toward Winfrey for her resolute help and direction, featuring the urgent Winfrey played, intending to Henson's interest with only one discussion. As I would see it when you saw her stroll up, you saw that there was strain, you saw that there was something occurring, and afterward, when you see Taraji, think of her an affection letter. Anyway, the compromise among Henson and Winfrey didn't agree with everybody, especially Monique, who felt deceived by her kindred entertainer. Monique, known for her unashamed position against unfairness in Hollywood, communicated her mistake in Henson's activities, scrutinizing her dedication to the reason they had both advocated, in light of the fact that that is everything I was said to you. Continue onward, and we'll get him the in the future, we'll get him the in the future, we'll get him the following time and the following opportunity never arrives. Monique didn't keep down, marking Henson's compromise with Winfrey as an unmitigated treachery and a mishap in the battle for fair treatment of dark entertainers. Monique's response to land P. Henson's compromise with Oprah Winfrey can be depicted as completely energetic disillusionment. An opinion resonates through Hollywood, working up discussions among industry insiders and fans. The same Monique, known for her unashamed position against unfairness, feels profoundly double-crossed by Henson's choice to make peace with Winfrey, a figure they had both condemned and tested. In Monique's eyes, Henson's activities connote an acquiescence to the very powers they've been battling against, an admission to the state of affairs that take steps to sabotage their hard-faced conflict for equity and decency in media outlets. It's an unpleasant reality for Monique to swallow, particularly considering the brotherhood they shared, and revolting against the shameful acts they confronted. Listen, we got to stand tall and remain steadfast on what we know. We realize you were abused. We realize it wasn't ideal for Monique. The issue runs further than individual complaints. It strikes at the core of the foundational issues that plague Hollywood: the influence, lopsided characteristics, the dug-in inclinations, and the unavoidable culture of quietness that permits unfairness to flourish. By accommodating with Winfrey, Henson coincidentally builds up the thought that revolting against strong figures is useless, that rocking the boat comes at excessively high an expense. Yet Monique isn't one to withdraw effectively. Notwithstanding her failure, she stays enduring in her obligation to talk in truth, to influence, to focusing a light on the shameful acts that keep on tormenting the business. She realizes that the street ahead will be full of difficulties, yet she won't allow Henson's choice to dissuade her from her main goal. As the blazes of debate kept on inundating Hollywood, everyone's eyes went to the sovereign of daytime TV herself, Oprah Winfrey, for her interpretation of the blending storm among her and P. Henson, in a bid to subdue the reports twirling around their alleged Errol. Winfrey step onto the brilliant Globe's honorary pathway with a message of solidarity and backing for her kindred entertainer, tending to the hypothesis head-on. Winfrey made plainly there's no ill will among her and Henson. I heard I was moving yesterday, on the grounds that individuals are saying that I was not supporting Taraji. Will let you know herself. Winfrey proceeded to stress her unflinching help for Henson and the whole presentation of Purple, a movie that she enthusiastically advocated as a maker, regardless of the jabber and inquiries concerning her contribution in tending to on-set strains. Winfrey declared her proactive position in moderating any issues that emerged during shooting. I'm not accountable for the financial plan, since that is Warner Bros. That is the manner in which the studio framework works when pre-explained, revealing insight into the intricacies of movie creation, dissipating the bits of gossip about